Welcome to DEFCON 3. I'm KT McFarland. The battle for Kobani in northern Iraq continues between Kurdish forces and ISIS forces. Some have said that if Kobani does fall to ISIS, game over. So joining us to talk about this is Kamran Bokhari. He's an advisor at Stratfor, and Stratfor is that geopolitical intelligence firm. So what do you think? Kobani falls, game over?
No, not at all. Actually, Kobani is not as strategic as it's being made out to be. And the key reason why there's so much focus on Kobani is because it's so close to the Turkish border that the media is actually able to cover it pretty much live. Well, not exactly live, but blow by blow. And so that's why there's so much focus and there's so much information. There are far more significant battles raging across the country that do not get into the press because the media just can't go there. So, and you know, as far as the Kurds are concerned, this is not a major Kurdish stronghold. Mind you that Hasaka province, which is towards the east from Kobani, is a major Kurdish stronghold and far more important. And there are Kurdish strongholds to the west of Kobani as well, especially in the Afrin area of Aleppo province. So by no means is this game over.
Okay, well, Kamran, what's the significance of Kurdistan or the Kurdish region? Does ISIS want to take it over? And what would they do if they did?
Well, ISIS wants to be able to, right now, you have to look at the geopolitical environment in which the United States is leading a coalition of countries that are going to wage war or have begun to wage war against ISIS to dislodge it from Iraq and weaken it, and in the words of the president, degrade and destroy in Syria. And so what does ISIS have need right now? Well, ISIS needs to protect its turf from its point of view. And therefore, it needs to be able to maintain that control from, you know, eastern part of Aleppo province all the way through the Iraqi-Syrian border. Now, that's a lot of area, and Kobani is just one battle. One of the things that the ISIS is interested in Kobani is it gives them a lot of PR value. They're big on psychological operations. They know the media is watching, and therefore they've invested a great deal of fighters here. But in recent days, the airstrikes have really taken out hundreds of experienced fighters, so they're losing. And now we have the airdrop of weapons to the Kurds from the United States. So this battle is going to rage on. It's going to cost IS.
Kamran, explain to us. The Americans have said that we are arming the Kurds. The Kurds have said they're not receiving the equipment. Are we arming the Kurds or not? And if not, why not?
I think that what's happening here is there's an expectation from the Kurdish side that they'll get, you know, X. They're not getting X, and the United States instead has given them Y. So there is that. Then, of course, there is the big issue with Turkey, which is a NATO ally, and is right on this battle is taking right on its doorstep. And the Turks are as afraid of IS as they are of the Kurds. In fact, one could argue that they're more afraid of the Kurds because of what a Kurdish empowerment can do to Kurdish separatism or to Kurdish separatist forces in Turkey. And so there is that angle that has sort of constrained the United States. And then, frankly speaking, there are just too many rebel groups out there that need help. And the United States is not about ready to open up that tap because, you know, the law of unintended consequences says you do something for a purpose, that purpose may or may not be fulfilled, but then you have another problem because of that.
Kamran, is the United States, is the coalition winning the war against ISIS?
I would say that it's too early to make a judgment because the United States and the coalition partners just got started. In fact, that coalition is still in the formative stage, considering that Turkey is not fully on board. We're negotiating with Iran on the nuclear issue, but we're on the opposite side in terms of fighting IS. And then, of course, there's our Arab allies, who we also have to balance with Iran. So I think it's way too early to say whether we're winning or losing. But at this point in time, if we had to take a snapshot, I think that the IS is not losing just yet. I think that would be a fair assessment.
In the end, will anybody put, quote, boots on the ground?
And that's the interesting question in all of this, in this entire military strategy, is that the United States has made it very clear that they're not going to put any boots on the ground. All the regional players are wary of putting any boots on the ground. So how do you fight IS alone from the air? Well, you don't. The strategy of the Obama administration is you rely on quote-unquote moderate rebels. The problem with that is We just don't know how moderate they are. And the fear is that if you arm them, then you are empowering people who are not very different from IS. Maybe they don't want a caliphate. Maybe they want an emirate. Maybe they don't want an emirate, but they're still, they have the same views and same agendas of sort of, radical Islamist agenda of one flavor or another. So it's a really difficult call, and that's why this battle is going to take a very, very long time. Just the military side of things, forget the rest.
Sounds like a witch's brew of radical Islam. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Kamran Bokhari of Stratfor, and he's also the author of Political Islam in the Age of Democratization. That's it for DEF CON 3.